Thank you for watching. This is now happening now on the Big Island. A man is in custody and an officer was hurt after a police investigation in the Mauna Loa Estates subdivision in Volcano. Officials say the officer suffered a laceration to the arm. There is no danger to the community, but there is still police activity on Nahele Nani Street, so please avoid the area. We'll bring you any more details on air and online as we get them. We want to take you now to Florida. Here's a view of the Tropicana field. Drone video over the home of the Tampa Bay Rays showed the damage Hurricane Milton left at the stadium, the roof shredded by severe weather. Now, the facility was supposed to serve as a refuge for first responders and cleanup crews. Search and rescue operations are underway in Florida following the powerful storm. Milton made landfall near Siesta Key as a Category 3 hurricane last night, sparing the Tampa area from catastrophic storm surge. Still, the hurricane is blamed for at least 5 deaths and has left behind plenty of debris, power outages, and flooding. Manuel Bojorquez reports from Orlando.
Hurricane Milton's destruction across Florida became visible as the sun rose, with rescue crews out in full force.
We'll come to you. Be careful.
Video from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office captured a team saving a 14-year-old found floating on debris.
Grab him.
Scenes like that one played out all day, with storm-weary residents emerging from boats to dry land.
I'm kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired.
The Tampa Bay area was spared a direct hit, but saw up to 15 inches of rain inundating streets.
Every other street, if it's not power lines and trees, it's literally floods.
Further inland here in Orlando, you can see from those mailboxes all the way back there just how high the waters rose. The governor is warning people against walking through waters like this for their own safety.
Standing water can conceal down power lines and other hazards. Standing storm waters can also carry a bacteria that can lead to fatal infections.
In St. Petersburg, Milton toppled this massive crane onto a building and ripped the roof off Tropicana Field, home of baseball's Tampa Bay Rays. Even before making landfall, the storm spawned more than 24 deadly and destructive tornadoes.
It was like watching the movie Twister. It came closer and it was spinning and the debris was flying everywhere.
We'll do everything in our power to help you put pieces back together.
President Biden says the federal government is sending the resources needed to help impacted communities recover and rebuild. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Orlando.
As people in Florida are getting their first look at the damage left by Hurricane Milton, the federal government is already dealing with Hurricane Helene's destruction across multiple states. Natalie Brand takes us inside FEMA's command center.
The FEMA Command Center is running 24/7, operating at its highest activation level for more than 2 weeks. Hundreds of federal employees in D.C. are coordinating with their counterparts on the ground in the disaster zone.
We have over 1,000 folks that are in Florida already. Some of those were there supporting Debbie and Helene, and a bit will be repurposed to be able to support the Milton response.
Keith Turry helps lead response and recovery. He says while Milton has passed, the danger has not.
We've got floodwaters that really want to stay out of, either driving or walking, power lines that are down that can be a hazard.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg stopped by FEMA Thursday and says his team is assessing damage to roads, bridges, airports, and the Port of Tampa Bay.
We're watching closely to see what it'll take for the Port of Tampa Bay to be reopened safely. Port Tampa Bay accounts for about 40% of energy going into Florida. So really important as we go into the medium term to know that those supply chains are up and running.
What is your hope for a timeline?
The timeline is going to be dictated by safety.
From the White House, President Biden spent the morning talking to state and local officials to make sure they have the resources they need.
We focused on what the American military can do like no one else can, provide emergency support for communities in need.
The Biden administration says the U.S. Coast Guard and National Guard are also on hand, helping with rescues and delivering supplies to communities ravaged by back-to-back hurricanes. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Now to an update on a missing work furlough inmate. We've just learned that Sean Fleetwood is back in custody at OCCC. Authorities said he turned himself into HPD headquarters just before 10 p.m. last night. The 43-year-old left Module 20 on a furlough past Tuesday morning and was supposed to return by 10 a.m. that day. He is serving time for second-degree sex assault. Following his arrest, he may now face a second-degree escape charge, a Class B felony that is punishable by up to 5 years in prison if convicted. And finding out his fate, former OCCC officer Anthony Pereira II was just sentenced to life in prison. A judge found him guilty of killing his own mother at his home in Maili in June of 2016. In his trial, evidence showed that he had held his 66-year-old mother against her will before shooting her multiple times. When police showed up, they found him with a gun in his hand and his mother dead on the floor. Another woman was held hostage, but she managed to escape and alert HPD. Pereira's attorney said that he was under extreme mental and emotional distress and mistakenly thought his mother had killed his daughter and wife, whom he had found out was having an affair. Pereira will eventually have a chance to be paroled. The Honolulu City Council has postponed the vote on a controversial settlement for the police shooting of Lindani Mieni. You may recall officers confronted the pro rugby player in Nu'uanu 3 years ago, thinking he was a burglary suspect. Mieni attacked the officers before they tased and then fatally shot him. His family sued, claiming race was a factor, and the city's lawyers are proposing to pay them $1.5 million. But as Eddie Dowd reports, law enforcers are pushing back.
It was quite the scene here at Kapolei Hale. For hours, more than 40 uniformed officers led by Honolulu Police Chief Joe Logan came to make their voice known about their opposition to this settlement.
This is a human, this is a man, this is my man, and this is what I was sent. This is his shirt, shot, bullet holes. This is his umbrella covered in blood. This is his clothes. And I have to keep them because that's what I have.
An outpouring of grief from the wife of Lindani Mieni capped off nearly an hour and a half of emotional testimony. Surrounded by dozens of officers, HPD's chief, lawyers, and even Honolulu's mayor debated whether settling the case was the right decision.
I stand firmly and unequivocally behind our police department on this, and I believe we should go to trial.
And I think this is the case that it's time to go to court and say, you know what, win or lose, we're standing behind our police department and we're in support of that.
And in this case, they acted appropriately. So the officers' actions were justified during our investigation as self-defense, defense of others, and force used in law enforcement. Finally, there was zero evidence of racism. Playing the race card here is Shibai.
But the attorney representing Mieni's wife and children says
Mr. Alm is leaving out critical facts. I've lost a tremendous amount of respect for that person.
Get on the ground now!
Could Mr. Mieni see the person? If I came up to you at night, you're standing on a lawn on a home, and I point a gun at you and put a flashlight in your face and tell you to get on the ground, I am breaking the law. I am committing an assault. I am the first wrong actor in that situation. That is what Officer Orozco did. Mr. Mieni had two choices. He could run for his life, maybe he gets shot in the back, or he could turn around and resist the person. It's his legal right. It was his legal right to resist that unlawful command from an unannounced person telling him to get on the ground who was not identifiable.
And even the city's own attorney explained how her team put in 3 years of research, interviewing witnesses and experts to ultimately make their decision to avoid a trial.
We facilitated a mock jury and we engaged with a settlement judge and with a mediator.
So after evaluating all of the evidence, all of what we took 3 years to study, we do a risk analysis, and then we try to determine what would be in the best interests of the city and the defendants, and the officers in this case. I respect the positions of the mayor, the chief of police, and the prosecuting attorney, but they have very different responsibilities that do not require that they engage in the process required of core by law. I stand by the analysis that we did in recommending this settlement.
Mayeni is survived by 2 children and his wife Lisa, who emotionally testified that the night of the shooting, she was just a few blocks away waiting for Mayeni to return home.
I know you feel bad because not one of you looked me in the eye. We've been here for hours. Not one of you looked me in the eye. Everyone looked away because you're human, and this was an act against humanity, and you know it. This is how it ends, and this is reality, and this is not another thing happening, and there's been no justice so far yet. They got away with criminal charges before the evidence even came out.
Now, it's unclear when the next meeting will be held to vote on this settlement, but it could be sometime next month. Reporting at Kapolehale, Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
New details on the search for Bonetta Ka'ivi on Kauai's North Shore. Authorities now say her car was found 100 feet down a cliff at Lumahai Beach, and they believe she may have been thrown into the water. The 47-year-old from Anahola was reported missing Friday night. Firefighters and the Coast Guard are continuing the search. Temporary housing for wildfire survivors has been extended. FEMA approved a 1-year extension of the Individuals and Housing Program. The 18-month initial period of assistance was set to end February 10th of next year. FEMA is working closely with the state of Hawaii to help survivors in temporary housing find permanent solutions. Disaster case managers are also providing personalized assistance. Meanwhile, a small church on Maui is pitching in to help ease the housing crisis with a new cluster of homes called Compassion Village. The members of Pukalani Community Church of the Nazarene built 4 homes on a property off Old Haleakala Highway. One family has already moved in. Their rent has been waived for the first 3 months, and then it will gradually increase to $800 a month for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit. The entire project was privately funded, with church members volunteering their time and labor.
In 1980, when the church was founded, they had the foresight to buy 4 water meters. So we had water on property ready to use. We have septic going in. It's been amazing to see, hey, we're doing a work day and everyone's here. You know, we're going to paint the insides together. We're going to paint the outsides. We're going to do this and that. We're going to clean. So everyone who has a gift, big or small, they've come to help.
The church is accepting applications for the other 3 homes and hopes to buy more land to keep building more. To get involved, look for a link at our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. The Lahaina Civic Center Gymnasium will be undergoing renovations. It's a 3-phase project. In Phase 2, the air conditioning and gym floor will be replaced, along with associated electrical work. Work starts on December 1st and is set to be completed in September of next year. The closure only applies to the gymnasium. The social hall will remain open for public use. Millions of retirees are getting a raise in the new year. The Social Security Administration announced a cost of living adjustment that will bump up monthly checks starting in January, an average of more than $50. 72.5 million Americans receive Social Security benefits. The 2.5% increase for next year reflects cooling inflation. Recipients got a huge bump in 2023 to account for record inflation post-pandemic. Fisher-Price is recalling a baby swing linked to at least 5 deaths. The Consumer Product Safety Commission and Fisher-Price say the Snugga swings should never be used for sleep, bedding materials should never be added to it, and doing so can increase the risk of suffocation. Consumers should immediately remove both the headrest and the body support insert from the seat pad before continuing to use the swing. Between 2012 and 2022, there have been reports of 5 deaths involving infants 1 to 3 months of age when the product was used for sleep. In most of those incidents, the infants were unrestrained and bedding material were added to the product. All right, it's time for our weekly crime roundup. Joining us now is Honolulu Crime Stoppers Sergeant Chris Kim. What do you have for us today?
Got 3 cases I want to highlight. The first case is a theft of mail on Sunday, September 1st, 2024, at about 1:26 p.m. This mail is captured on video surveillance, basically stealing the complainant's Amazon package that was delivered to the front door. He's been described as an unknown male wearing a white hat, shirtless, blue jeans, and white athletic shoes. And this happened over at 2615 South King Street. Second case I want to highlight is a theft in the third degree that happened at the Pearl City Home Depot store on Thursday, September 12, 2024, at about 9:04 p.m. This unknown person, it is unknown at this time whether it's male or female, entered the Home Depot in Pearl City and basically selected a generator and then walked out with it without making payment of it. Description of the suspect is an unknown person, approximately 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing 200 pounds, tattoo on leg, black jacket, blue top, and gray shorts. Security there is saying possibly transgender female. He or she fled in a white Kia MPVH unknown license plates. And finally, our last case is a collision involving bodily injury, basically a hit and run. On Monday, August 26, 2024, about 9:16 p.m., white 2014 Lexus was traveling northbound on Poly Highway through the intersection when this 2017 Nissan van bearing Hawaii license plates 971 TWF broadsided the Lexus, then fled. The suspect then parked at the van and was captured video surveillance walking away. So we're asking the viewers, please, if you do know this person depicted here, he is the driver of this van. We're trying to identify him. He's being described as an unknown male in his 40s, medium build. Suspect vehicle is this white 2017 Nissan van bearing Hawaii license plates 971 TWF. All 3 cases we talked about today can be seen over at the honolupd.org website, bottom left-hand corner under wanted persons.
And the first case is a reminder, Prime Days were this week.
Yes,
we're going to start holiday shopping, so keep an eye on your packages, right?
Definitely take all the proper precautions securing your package, make delivery arrangements with your building, maybe even with neighbors.
All right, Sergeant Chris Kim, thank you for joining us. All right, let's take a live look outside now with our tower cam looking over Aloha Tower. Gorgeous conditions today. We're going to have a look at your full forecast with Billy V coming up after this quick break.
Partly sunny skies, east-northeasterly winds still on the lighter side. Really, we should see most of those showers, mostly along the Ko'olau and the interior sections. Here we go over towards Maui County, 85 for Kaunakakai. Kahului's looking good, 89 degrees at your daytime high. Those winds could gust up to 20 miles per hour. No winds for Kona. Captain Cook's going to get some showers. That's going to be most likely in the, actually through the day, Hawaii Island. Real quickly, your 7-day forecast, light winds in the forecast for today, 5 to 15 mile per hour winds, 88 degrees. Light winds will be all the way through the weekend until Sunday, so muggy conditions. We'll continue to see windward amount of showers, maybe some interior showers and more on the leeward side too with those light winds. Once we get over towards Monday, that's when the trade winds come back, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nice trade wind weather.
A new report shows inflation is slowing, but not as quickly as analysts were anticipating. Jolene Kent has a closer look inside the numbers.
Overall, inflation is easing, with prices up 2.4% year over year, the lowest increase since February of 2021. But many Americans say they're not feeling it.
I like to get the most out of my money because I work hard for it.
Ivy Lewis says she's scaled back on eating out. Restaurant prices exploded during the pandemic, and now they're up 3.9% over the last year.
It's becoming like a luxury now, right? Usually it was something that you just wanted to do if you just didn't feel like cooking.
The overall level of prices continues to weigh on consumers.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger points to the grocery store. Prices are rising slower than overall inflation, but some items have seen huge increases. The CBS News Money Watch price tracker shows eggs are up 176% since before the pandemic. Frozen orange juice has surged, and ground beef is up 47%.
When we talk about the inflation rate moving down, that does not mean that prices are moving down.
One place Americans have found relief is at the gas pump. The cost for a gallon is now down almost 50 cents from 2023. But that's expected to change because of the conflict in the Middle East, pushing up oil prices.
What we could see is maybe a 10 or 12 cent a gallon increase in gas prices.
The good news, workers are making more money. Wages are up 4%, and Social Security recipients will see a 2.5% increase in benefits starting in January. That's about $50 more a month for the average retiree. Jolene Kent, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The last member of the original iconic Kennedy dynasty, Ethel Kennedy, has died. Dan Sheneman has more on the life and legacy of the 96-year-old wife of Robert F. Kennedy.
Ethel Kennedy was the wife of Robert Kennedy and played a key role in a political dynasty. Born Ethel Skakel, she met Bobby Kennedy on a ski trip in 1945. They were married 5 years later and soon started a family. The family kept growing. The couple had 7 boys and 4 girls. She was by her husband's side when he ran John Kennedy's campaign for president in 1960 and consoled her husband when his brother was assassinated 3 years later. She loved the political life and supported her husband as he carved out his own political identity.
There was such excitement and such a feeling that so much had to be done, but it could be done. And he'd get it done.
It was in 1968 when Bobby Kennedy made his own run for the White House. The campaign was passionate and at times frantic. Ethel was with him in Los Angeles when he celebrated a win in California.
My thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there. Thank you very much.
Only to be gunned down moments later. She mourned, and the nation mourned with her. She rarely discussed her husband's death.
There's the difficult part, but then there's also the wonderful part, you know, to remember what he stood for.
In the years that followed the assassination, Ethel Kennedy dedicated herself to her children and grandchildren. She also carried on her husband's commitment to human rights.
But he brought us all along with his enthusiasm and his love of life and his curiosity, and he made everybody feel a part of this battle.
In 2014, President Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
It's pumpkin season. The annual Aloon Farms Pumpkin Festival is back this fall, but there are only a few opportunities to enjoy. Casey Lund has more from the pumpkin patch.
Oh, all kinds of great stuff here at Aloon Farms for the 22nd annual Aloon Farms Pumpkin Festival. We've got a treat for you. Halau Hula Ohokulani is going to make a performance here in just a moment. We have Kumuhula Kehaulani Kavai with us this morning. Aloha, mahalo for being here. We're going to get to the performance because they have something special. We're so grateful to have you guys down here. I do want to talk really quickly about Aloon Farms Pumpkin Festival. We got Mr. Cobb with us this morning as well. Lisi Hay Muli is with us. Tell us, give us the details on the festival. What folks should know before we get to the performance?
Yeah, so come out. We're opening up this weekend for the last 3 weekends of October. We also got a cool thing partnered up with Southwest Airlines. We're doing a pumpkin carving contest online, virtual contest. You can win tickets on Southwest, and then we have some neat games on the weekend to also win tickets from Southwest.
Part about this, the other side effect of this is teaching keiki, teaching young people in Ohana where their food comes from, getting them out in the fields and getting connected with the Aina.
Yeah, sustainability is a big part of what we do, so we want kids to come out, learn, be a farmer for a day, and just come out and see what we have.
Very good. And I want to talk to Kehaulani, and I want to ask you a little bit about where these girls perform. You guys are out here on the west side.
Yes, we're actually here at Kamakana Ali'i, so this is our neighborhood. We're happy to be here in this area, and our girls are actually performing this Saturday here at Aloon Farms from 10:30, so come and join us. And we're also taking our girls to a hula festival in California at the end of the month, so we're really excited.
Well, I can't begin to tell you how grateful we are that you got them. And I bet you're grateful that it's fall break, too.
Yeah, it actually worked out perfectly. So these girls are really excited to share their hula with y'all.
All right. Well, without further ado, thank you so much, Kehaulani. We will give you the performance of Halau Hula o Hokulani. Enjoy.